my lovable friends. I hope you are doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about another topic, which is very important to know because it's one of the very common topics that might be your question on the day of test, whether you're going to go for the IELTS speaking test or the writing part. This topic is absolutely jam to know. So here we go to talk about crime. But before getting started, I would like to invite you to subscribe to this video because I will be really, really motivated when I see that I've got more friends. Crime has a lot of different, let's say, subjects and different categories that we can cover. But today we're going to talk about the most important parts of that. The first thing that comes to mind while talking about crime would be police and crime prevention. So, those kind of initiatives or activities that could be done by authorities, police, the government, and the public to prevent any sorts of crime from happening. So the first idea is the job of the police is to catch criminals. So this is a very, very common way of saying something like that. It's a very good way to use in speaking as well, because catch is not that much of a academic, let's say, option. So you can definitely use it while speaking. They must also prevent crime and make communities safer. So they here refers to the police because previously we talked about the subject that was the police. So we do not need to repeat the police. This is a technique which is very important in your writing and speaking because by doing that, you show the examiner that you know how to refer to the previously mentioned subject and doer. So whenever you can do it, let's show the examiner that your knowledge is high enough to know how to do it in order to avoid any sorts of extra and redundant repetition. They must so this is the second thing that you think is a must for the police. And here, with the first sentence, the police, we always say the police. It should be remembered that way. And here we say safer. So safe is an adjective, and the comparative form of that is safer. There should be an increase in the number of police officers on the streets. There should be. So here we are suggesting something. There should be an increase. So here we use increase as a noun. It is not a verb. To be an increase. So here we have used be in order to use the correct version of the verb, and then in the number of what? In the number of police officers. So here, instead of using the police like the previous sentences, we are using police officers. But why? In order to vary the language. Remember, any kind of repetition is not a good sign, even though the word is very beautiful and very special. When you use it a lot, it shows that you are not that much comfortable with a wide range of vocabulary, phrases, grammatical points, and stuff like that. So the key to getting a high band score is using a wide variety of phrases, grammatical points, structures, anything. Police officers should be seen as part of the community, for sure. They should be involved with education and prevention. So if you're using the reference again, should be involved. Here we've got the passive structure, should be involved with. So we use involved, and the preposition is with education and prevention. So here you can see that prevention is the noun of prevent that we use in the previous sentence. The police should be close contact with schools. So we are giving another piece of good advice. They should focus on young people who have dropped out of school. So when school children or even at college, students prefer not to continue going to the school or college, we call them drop out. So here, Drop out has been used as a verb to drop out of school. So it seems that those who decide not to participate in any sort of academic stuff like school or college are more probable to have the tendency towards a crime. So that's why in this sentence it is said that we should focus on those youngsters who have dropped out of school more because they are at the risk of just getting into crime or being somehow exposed by crime. These teenagers may become involved with gangs. So here you can see that another thing that might be dangerous for the teenagers could be the risk that is with them in order to get involved with gangs. So now that we've talked about some ideas about the police and crime prevention, let's move on and talk about punishments. Because when somebody does something bad, the result and the consequence is about punishment. Punishments, prisons, fines. So fine is about the amount of money that people are supposed to pay when they've done something bad, illegal, and the police or the authorities want them to pay a specific amount of money in order to be punished. Like when you, for example, do not pay attention to the red light, later on you will have the ticket that you need to pay. Fines are used as punishment for minor crimes. Minor means small, so not serious crimes. If the crime is more serious, prison is the most common punishment. So if the crime is so serious, like for example, robbery, theft, and stuff like that, prison is the solution. Some criminals pose a threat to society. So we you normally use threaten as the verb, but here is another way of saying so, but differently. Pose a threat to pose a threat to society. So definitely you can feel free and use it in different kinds of situations. They are put in prison to ensure the safety of other citizens. They means criminals. They are put in prison. So somebody else put them in prison. So that's why we've got the passive structure. To ensure. Ensure is a very beautiful verb that could be used when you want to say make sure. It's more academic and formal. Negatives of prisons. Like any other thing in this world, it's not just positives. So some negatives could be related to prisons. Criminals are put together. So a person who's done something very minor and a person who's done something much more important and serious can be placed together. They make friends with other offenders. So here you can learn the synonym for criminals. So instead of saying criminals again, we have offenders. Many prisoners reoffend when they are released. Reoffend means a repeat crime. So when you are in prison and later on when you are released, you're out of prison, again you do something illegally. So you reoffend. A criminal record makes finding a job more difficult. So those people who have done something bad in the past, something illegal, are not that much likely to find a job easily because of their criminal record. People are not willing to take them in. So the next topic, rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is about the time that you need to spend under specific sorts of supervision to get rid of something like addiction or crime. Another aim of prisons is rehabilitation because doing something illegally repeatedly is a kind of habit, and a prison can act as a rehabilitation center for those who are really addicted and accustomed to just doing something illegal. Prisoners receive education or vocational training. So they've got different kinds of courses that they can attend. They've got different kinds of training sessions so they can learn more important things. Prisoners should learn personal skills and specific job skills because they're spending that amount of time there. For some people, it's like 6 months, for some people, it's like 10 years, and it could be very, very different. But the point is that if they can learn some personal skills and specific job skills, especially when they are released, they can easily find a job. Punishment could make prisoners' behavior worse because when people are under pressure, they cannot see their family members, they cannot enjoy their freedom. Chances are very high that they become even much more aggressive, violent, and brutal. Rehabilitation aims to make them better citizens, of course. The aim of rehabilitation and all the attention, money, energy, investment into that is the hope for them to become better citizens. Rehabilitated prisoners are less likely to reoffend. So it seems that if they are trained, if they are educated, those prisoners are not going to reoffend that much. So we talked about reoffend, and here we have a very beautiful structure, which is are less likely to be more likely to do something. You can definitely use this beautiful phrase in these kind of situations.